In this video, I will show you how whistleblowers can get in touch with large international news organizations to publish sensitive information about misconduct in politics, economy, and society. This video is not an incitement to commit a crime. Please adhere to the legal regulations in your country and do not commit any crimes. Thank you. Let's first take a look at what the term whistleblower actually means. Whistleblowers are individuals, often employees within an organization, who disclose information about illegal, unethical, or incorrect actions, practices, or behaviors within the organization to the public or a higher authority. A good example is the former intelligence employee Edward Snowden, who revealed in early June 2013 how, especially the United States, has been monitoring telecommunications and the internet on a large scale and without suspicion since at least 2007. Can you think of other well-known whistleblowers? Feel free to write them down in the comments below. The origin of the word whistleblowing can metaphorically be traced back to the practice of blowing a whistle to draw attention to a crime, danger, or irregularity. Historically, whistling was used to attract attention or sound an alarm. For example, by police officers or referees who use a whistle to signal misconduct or interrupt the game. In the context of whistleblowing, blowing the whistle serves as a metaphorical action to draw attention to misconduct, unethical behavior, or illegal activities. Similar to a referee in sports interrupting a game to point out a rule violation. Whistleblowers often decide to disclose information out of a sense of moral or ethical obligation to society, even if this means taking personal or professional risks and, in the worst case, even putting their lives at risk. That's why it's enormously important for investigative journalists to protect their sources, in this case the whistleblower, as best as they can. Making mistakes could, in the worst case, severely endanger the whistleblower's life. But how does an investigative journalist, who may not have in-depth technical knowledge, ensure that a whistleblower's identity remains secret? How should they communicate when eavesdroppers can unexpectedly pop up at any corner of the cyberspace? Well, there's already a technical open source solution for that. SecureDrop. SecureDrop is a project of the Freedom of the Press Foundation and can be used by news organizations to securely accept documents from anonymous sources and communicate with them. The project was created because in many of the recent leak cases, US authorities have closely examined the sources of information. This concerns both the metadata and the content of the communications from third parties such as email and telephone providers. SecureDrop attempts to completely eliminate third parties from the equation. But how does SecureDrop implement this? The journalist and the whistleblower communicate exclusively through a server owned by the news organization, so any legal request for information must go directly to the news organization rather than, for example, Google. Moreover, the whistleblower can only log into SecureDrop via the Tor network and receives a randomly generated codename through which they can then communicate with a journalist. This codename cannot be chosen by the user to prevent the choice of the codename from revealing information about the whistleblower. Here's what it looks like at the Washington Post SecureDrop. Here at the top, you might see a message saying that the security level of your Tor browser is too low. Click on the button here at the top right and configure the Tor browser accordingly. If you haven't submitted anything yet, click here on the Get Started button to receive a codename. This codename will be displayed here. You should remember this codename and keep it absolutely secret. There is no way to retrieve the codename. Then click on the Continue button down below. Here you can now upload the files you want to submit to the Washington Post. Before you send the data, you can additionally encrypt it with the Washington Post's public PGP key. Make sure not to access the key shortly before the submission via the clear web. However, the data is additionally encrypted by SecureDrop, meaning PGP is not mandatory here. The private key for decrypting the whistleblower's data is stored by the news organization on an air-gapped computer. That means it is not connected to the internet or any other network. In the end, you can then click on the Submit button below. Done. If you want to know what happened to your data or if a journalist from the news portal has responded to you, you can click on Log in the section Return Visit. Then enter your previously saved codename and click Continue. You can now make further submissions with your previous codename or read the journalist's responses. By the way, the SecureDrop server also stores only the date and time of the submission. As soon as the whistleblower sends a new message or submits a new document, the previous timestamp is overwritten, meaning there is no metadata history from which anything could be inferred. However, the whistleblower should also ensure that he removes potentially identifying metadata before submitting data. You can find tutorials on how to do this for various file types on my YouTube channel. SecureDrop has already been gone through 4 independent penetration testing audits in the past and will continue to do so when major changes are made to the code. These audit reports have always been published so that everyone can be assured that SecureDrop can be used safely. I have linked an overview of the existing audit reports in the video description down below. Moreover, the project is completely open source, meaning anyone with the technical knowledge can verify its security for themselves. Let's take a look at how an exchange between a whistleblower and a news organization could take place. First, the news organization sets up a SecureDrop server, which the whistleblower can access through the Tor network. The request first goes through the entry node, then the middle relay, and finally the exit node. The whistleblower then uploads the documents which have already been stripped of metadata. The journalist from the news organization then connects to the SecureDrop server from the journalist workstation, which boots from a USB drive where the encrypted files are stored. These may have also been encrypted with the news organization's public PGP key in advance. The encrypted documents are then copied by the journalist onto a USB drive. For additional security, this drive can also be hardware encrypted. The journalist inserts the USB drive into a computer used exclusively for SecureDrop submissions, so-called secure viewing stations. This is where the key for decrypting the files encrypted via SecureDrop is located and possibly the private PGP key for breaking the second optional level of encryption. SecureDrop completely isolates its traffic from a news organization's normal network. Access on this computer is only possible through the Linux Tails operating system, which boots from a USB drive. The contents of the submitted information can now, for example, be printed, shared with a team, or used in an investigative journalism article. The journalist may also decide to ask follow-up questions via SecureDrop using the previously generated random codename. On the project's website, you can find a list of news organizations that offer SecureDrop for whistleblowers. This list includes, for example, The Washington Post, The Guardian, and CNN. I have linked a list of all SecureDrop providers in the video description down below. As an additional tip for a whistleblower, I would suggest not accessing the list of SecureDrop providers from the clear web. Only use the Tor browser. Have you ever been in a situation where you felt internally compelled to become a whistleblower? Were you already familiar with SecureDrop, or do you know of any alternatives? Please feel free to write your answers in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.